Welcome to All Things Battlefield Earth. And I mentioned that I wasn't going to be doing videos for a while. I wanted to focus on my just other projects, some writing projects I have, and some other video projects. But I've had a lot of positive feedback and people who enjoyed the videos. And ultimately, I do it because I enjoy doing the videos. I enjoy talking about the movie and the book, and I enjoy interacting with other Battlefield Earth fans. So I guess maybe I did. I stopped doing them for personal reasons, I suppose. So I'm gonna do some more videos, and again, it's just something I enjoy, and I hope you enjoy these videos. And if you're a Battlefield Earth fan, drop me a line and let me know what you might want to see in videos regarding Battlefield Earth. Thank you and enjoy. And again, thank you for those who gave me positive comments regarding the videos. It means a lot. Thank you. So let's get right into it. We pick up where we left off, basically, where Kerr feels that he's smarter than Turl in this particular incident, and was sadly mistaken to find out that Turl is several steps ahead of him. So he ends up losing his hand, and he's told, "Hey, go get me the original disc." And basically, Turl knows that he's going to have to terminate the man animals at this point. So there's Kerr having to basically, kind of back down from him. Now, again, in the book, Kerr was on Johnny's side. He wasn't the evil, Cyclo that they're bred to be. And unfortunately, the history of the Cyclos, they weren't bred to be, they weren't originally evil, but they were made that way by a faction of Cyclos called the Catrist. So here we've got some guards going to check on the man animals, and they're all gone because Johnny has planned the revolt, and he basically bribed Kerr with the disc so that he could go, blackmail Turl. That didn't work, however, as we saw previously, but he was able to wrest freedom for his buddies, his woman. So they're all free, and they're all out there working on planning this revolt. And this revolt is basically they want to, have the revolt inside the dome. They want to blow the dome while they get all the Cyclos out there trying to round them up. And when they blow the dome, they're not going to have breath mask on, and they're going to die of suffocation. This is ultimately what they plan to do. Now, in the book, it was more of a whenever the Turl was going to be fired back to Cyclo, there was the Scots and everyone's going to pop up, and they had these radiation bullets that reacted badly, of course, with the air in the Cyclo's blood veins. So when they shot a Cyclo, they just exploded. And this was how they combated. Now the battle in the book, they had some Brigantes who worked for Brown Limper Staffer, who was on the side of Turl. So when this big battle happened, they were actually fighting more than just Cyclos. They were fighting, these Brigantes. They were dealing with Brown Limper Staffer, who hated Johnny so badly, he was going to shoot him. But during a firing, you can't shoot weapons, run engines, you can't do any of that kind of thing. So Turl ended up killing Brown Limper Staffer in this fight. And then Turl was sent back to Cyclo at that time. Now, we learn in the book later on that Turl was sent back to a planet that no longer existed because Johnny had destroyed Cyclo with his Planet Buster bombs, that were sent back, 10 of them, and they had to wait a whole year to find out what really happened to Cyclo. Well, unfortunately, Turl found out as he materializes where Cyclo should have been. So he was in cold, dead space, and that was the end of Turl. So in this battle, it's basically what I aforementioned. All these people helping Johnny, and Johnny was originally good. That the timing mechanism. Basically, the bomb, just like in the book, had to be manual detonated. Now, in the book, he waited till the firing was about to happen, so he went and pulled. Johnny did. He went and pulled these tabs because whenever the firing was committed, kind of like a transporter on Star Trek, when the firing is committed, you can't stop it. So they knew he wouldn't blow up Earth by accident. So he sent these bombs back and destroyed Cyclo. And again, very climactic in the book. They had to wait a year. They didn't know if they were going to be counterattacked. And ultimately, that was the end of the Cyclos. And sadly, whenever Cyclos send their workers to other planets, the females are sterile because they don't want to revolt. They don't want other Cyclo colonies popping up. So sadly, the beginning of the book, Turl says man is an endangered species. But ultimately, in the book, Cyclos became an endangered species because of Turl's actions. But ultimately, Turl didn't do it. Turl was doing what he was bred to do. Ultimately, it was the K'trist that took over the Cyclos and made them an evil race. And it's proven in Kurr that he didn't have. He was the runt of the litter. He wasn't wanted, sadly, and he didn't have these things put in his head to cause the violent behavior and evil, actions. So Kurr is ultimately what the race should have been, could have been, and was once before. So back to the movie. Johnny is, love the movie, but these Cyclos now, okay, excuse me. Turl prides himself in the movie and the book at being a crack shot, at being a perfect shot, and he is. He blew off the heads of a running rat at 100 feet, But these Cyclos, they suck. I mean, there's about 5 of them standing there shooting at Johnny. He's running, okay? He's running, and they are missing. They are blowing shit up everywhere, but they're missing him. But anyway, you can't shoot our hero. But the Johnny in this story, in this movie, definitely represents, the what Johnny really was in the book. He was. He was a hero. He did most of the things himself. When it came to taking the drone out, he did it himself. He fought Turl himself. He needed the Scots, of course, and they were a big help. They had all the heart and soul, of everybody in the book. That's why I hate that the Scots were overlooked for the movie, but I understand that you can't. Maybe Sir Robert the Fox, we could have seen him in the movie. But Johnny had a council of sorts. He had all these people who were around him helping him make these decisions. And like any great leader, he would give certain responsibilities to them. And he would even give responsibility to Kurr so that he could focus. And that's the great evolution of the book. By the end of the book, Johnny had turned over all operations to everyone else, and he was no longer needed. So he was able to focus on his life with Chrissy. And a while ago, you heard him, well, you didn't hear him, but if you watched the movie, we see where he, tells Chrissy that, basically they're talking about having kids. Well, they do. They have 2 kids. And he's able to teach his kids the things that he knew. about hunting and about surviving off the land. But back to the story. Anyway, it's a great book. If you haven't read Battlefield Earth, the book, it is absolutely an amazing. It's a detailed story, and you'll be hard pressed to find anything as good. So back to Johnny. He is what he's trying to do. He's trying to get in this cyclo in the basically Charles' office, and trying to now you can't. It had to be. You just couldn't fire. You couldn't just any time. Cyclo's a planet that had all these different planets firing. At different times. So if you were to fire on top of another planet, you can't just fire anytime you want. Because if you would fire on top of someone else, then there would be, things appearing, on top of each other. So for Earth, it was day 92. But anyway, in the movie here, he's going to transport Mickey to Cyclo to be able to blow up Cyclo. So in the book, Turl had maneuvered things to where he killed Nipe, and he was able to. He killed the planet ship, and he put Kerr in the position so that Kerr could, tell him to go home in 6 months. So that was his plan, to go home. He's already fired off his coffins with the gold in it, so he's going to go back to Cyclo and be rich. Well, in the book, the coffins went first the year previous, and he was going to go dig them up, one dark Cyclo night. But again, in this situation, what we're trying to do is he's basically wanting to get back home, but he's dealing with the revolt, of the man animals. And these craft in the book were impenetrable. They had shields. They had something that, nothing. They had an armor annealed something. I'm trying to remember the exact term in the book, but these things were pretty invincible. And in the book, man, their advanced technologies, their weapons, their nuclear weapons, could not stop the drone or any of these battle planes. And unfortunately, they don't show them to be, as strong here, because they get taken down pretty easily. So again, theatrics of movies, they have to make it exciting. It's the big battle scene. We've got all these planes in the air, and it has to be a great battle. The number one gripe anybody has when they tear this movie apart is that 1,000-year-old Harriers, the fuel would be bad, the hoses probably would be rotten, these things could not fly. In the book, Johnny's able to train the other man animals, the other guys, the other women, to be able to fly battle planes. So when the battle took place, they were able to actually use battle planes. Made perfect sense. So that doesn't seem like a very hard, thing to be able to maneuver in a movie. So I don't know why they choose to go with 1,000-year-old planes, because that was a major detraction from the movie. Now, what they may be talking about or trying to allude to is that they did find a lot of in an underground base that air hadn't touched, and these Thompson submachine guns were fixed up and used in the book, and they were 1,000 years old and they worked. So there were some things that they were able to use. But it certainly wasn't, you know, when you look at cars on the street in the book, they were just mounds of metal. Okay? And likewise, these planes would not still be able to be used. You know, you just have to look at it and go, okay, they had to shortcut some things. I've said it 100 times in these videos. They took, you know, 500 pages of a 1,000-page book, so it was half the book, and they tried to put the 500 pages and get the essence of the book in a 2-hour movie. And that's impossible. Yeah, I love John Travolta. I love all the people involved in this movie. But at the time, back then, miniseries weren't really, you know, happening a lot. But in today's world, we have Netflix, Hulu, etc. There's miniseries going on everywhere. Battlefield Earth, with 1,000 pages and all these amazing characters, would fit better, you know, in a miniseries. So I can only hope. I've pitched that. I've done videos to where I went through. I did a layout for a 12 episode miniseries for Battlefield Earth, and we would be able to cover all the ups and downs, high points, low points, all the characters, the Scotts, Chrissy, Patty, everybody would be covered in this miniseries. So I hope one day someone is able to do that for us so we can enjoy Battlefield Earth, the miniseries. So again, thank you for watching all things Battlefield Earth, and we will have more coming for you soon.